So, the historical development of the synagogue. To begin, I want to clarify a key point in understanding the material culture of Judaism. So, the term temple is considered by most sects of Judaism to refer only to the ancient temple in Jerusalem. Traditionally, until about 200 years ago, the Jewish house of worship was never called a temple. The term synagogue is from the Greek term meaning house of assembly. This is a fundamental concept to comprehend because the Reform movement, which started around the turn of the century from 1700s to the 1800s, claimed that since we were never going back to the original concept of the temple in Jerusalem, that the modern term for a Jewish house of worship should be called a temple. This cultural and sort of ideological concept stuck, and today, if a Jewish congregation calls their house of worship a temple, they are nearly always a Reformed Jewish organization. The term synagogue cuts across all Jewish sects in English, but is less often part of the name of the place. So on to the development of the synagogue building. Something to acknowledge is that any Jew or group of Jews can build a synagogue. There's no scriptural limit nor directions on how or who can instruct these gathering places. So synagogues have been constructed by ancient Jewish kings, by wealthy patrons, as well as a wide range of human institutions, including secular educational institutions, governments, hotels, even by the entire community of Jews living in a particular place. So, for example, subgroups of Jews according to their occupation, ethnicity, so the Sephardic, the Polish, the Persian Jews of a town, style of religious observance, so whether they're a Reform or an Orthodox synagogue, or even by followers of a particular rabbi can build their own synagogue. So a huge part of the development of the synagogue over time has depended on the group of Jews that were going to use it. So now for the pictures that you see on the slide. So again, there's no set blueprint for synagogues. So the architectural shape nor the interior design is really confined by scripture or anything in Judaism. So moving away from the temple design, which is more of a sacred sacrificial center, synagogues began to take on the shape and form of the geographical area in which they were located in. I included the line developing with culture in the middle of the slide because I think it encompasses how the synagogue building has developed. For example, in the top left corner, the Touro Synagogue of Rhode Island, which was the first synagogue built in America, appears to be a typical colonial house in the year of 1763 when it was built. So the building fits into its geographical area and the time period at that time, and it still served its purpose of providing a gathering place for Jews. In the same way, the synagogue pictured in the bottom left in Kaifeng, China, looks like a regular Chinese temple of that era, with like outer walls and an open garden in which several buildings were arranged. In the middle, the Old New Synagogue in Prague shows a classic Gothic architecture of the 13th century. And then top right, the congregation Beth Shalom, pictured in the top right, displays the contemporary modern architecture that our culture today promotes. Something that like people would go and see because it fits in. And then even the bottom right picture, the abandoned synagogue in Ethiopia. To us, it appears as like a normal house or building in Ethiopia, but to them, it's a place of gathering. And so it just kind of goes to show that regardless of what the exterior of the building looks like or how big it is, the condition that it's in, that doesn't affect the purpose in which the Jewish believers in that area use for the building. So I think that's just something cool as far as the development of the synagogue has happened over time, is the way in which that it's shaped by the people and the geographical area in which it's built.